can get your attention. I wanted to see, are you really kind if somebody's dying? Colleagues, we will start in a minute. We just waiting for these catering people to put some glasses on your table, because we can see that they are running late than we have thought. So we will start in a minute. I don't want us to start a program when the keynote is being given, and then we are moving around. But I have a humble request. I know people are very tired. I was tired as well. But I'm going to ask that we fill these tables, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just move and get closer to each other. Yes, it will be nice and proper that we do so. Let's just fill the tables that are empty in the front. Yeah. I'm hoping that we are not online. We are just doing our own thing here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edith Paswana, and I am the academic director at the TM School. And I just want to welcome everyone this evening to our cocktail dinner. You know, cocktail, it's what you have in your glasses there. But I'm surprised I don't see cocktail dresses. So academics actually, they just do as you can't tell them, you can't give them instruction, eh? They do the other way. They do the other way around. Even if you call it cocktail, they will come with a TM school t-shirt. That's academics for you. Nonetheless, on a lighter note, that was on a lighter note. Thank you very much and welcome everyone to our Biennial International Conference under the theme In Search of Lasting Solutions for Prosperous and Democratic Governance in Africa. And we just want to welcome you and say you are friends of the school by just being here. Your presence means a lot to the school as we build this new formidable institution. We also rely on friends like you to be able to come up with solutions, scholarly, evidence-based solutions to the problems that we have with regard to governance in this continent. And many of you who are in this room are the people that will bring solutions to these problems that we are facing. Our program tonight is a cocktail reception. Not really about speeches, not really. We had a very good day. Excellent papers being presented. We also had good speeches in the morning. We had panels, so we are going to have a good time. Nice music, light drinks, but please, if you are driving back to your hotel, just remember the limit, because we've got something for you. Just remember the limit. I think it's a lighter moment of networking for us, because part of the academic journey is also to be able to network and meet new people. Some of the greatest network and collaborations that one has came out of conferences all over the world. And it's important, these moments. You can take them lightly, but they are important. We were just talking in that table around the peace model of China, and we were talking about what China has been doing. We know that we have heard that China had criminals, thugs. The problem we are facing right now in South Africa at some point was a problem of China, but China was able to defeat it and to eradicate poverty, and they are in a better space now. It's very safe to walk around. It's very safe even at 12 a.m. And like someone who visits China frequently, I know it's safer to be in China than here at my home. So these networkings are just very, very important. You know, when I tell my students sometimes that I travel to speak for 10 minutes allocated to me on the program, and sometimes that 10 minutes is not even 10. They will be saying, we don't have time, 7 minutes. Just give us highlights and summarize. So my students always say, Prof, is that all that you do, 10 minutes? How can you be in a long-haul flight of 12 hours to speak for 10 minutes? And I said, yeah. When I say academics are, strange people, weird actually, these are some of the things that we do. But of course, part of the conferencing is this networking, and hence it's important that after such a hard day, we have this. Tonight, we have a special session, and this session is actually going to be very important for all of us, particularly with regard to bringing solutions to Africa. And while the music is going to play, I'm going to invite my interlocutors to the table, to the seats in front, and I will ask them to walk to where I am. The first one is Mr. David Letswalo, and then we have Professor Mamo Muchu as someone. Do we have any poet here? Or any singer? You know, academics are multi-talented. Something can just come up here. Yeah, someone can just come up here and do a poem or sing for us. These people, oh, you can do a poem for us. Thank you, Prof. Prof, before you can do this, you want to give us a poem. I told you, academics. You were thinking he's a natural scientist. He has a poem. Come, Prof.
It is easy to sing when the streets themselves are alive with singing, when the drum beats, the rhythm in us all. It is easy enough to speak the words that move when the crowd is aroused and wants what you wish it to prove. What is not so easy is to start from the dark, not knowing where to spark. For the real work is the work that no one sees and earns no remark. Don't go for remark. Go for hard work. Don't kill people. Unite. Don't fight. Thank you.
Another warm round of applause, please.
Just don't worry about it. You can read that one.
Yes.
You could just put that.
Thank you. We are now at the point where I don't want to waste our time, where we are introducing our speaker. Our speaker is none other but our own erudite scholar, prolific writer, Pan-Africanist of note, professor, a DSTF NRF rated research professor at the Tshwane University of Technology in Pretoria, South Africa. His research interest is science, technology, innovation, and development. Professor Mamo Muchu has written over 30 books on issues on science, technology and innovation, as well as Africa's development. He is one of the elders that were instrumental in the formation of the TM school as well, a well sought after scholar. One of his paper, which actually deals with environmental and public health implications of wastewater quality in Africa, which he wrote for the African Journal of Biotechnology, was one of the best papers I have read on environmental and public health issues. Professor Mamu has mentored many young academic emerging scholars on this continent. He asked me not to say a lot, because I can say a lot. He has taught in the UK, in the US, where he lived. His family is in the UK as well. And we are lucky to have him here at the school. Professor Mamu Mushu is one of those people who love Africa and Africans. And what do I mean by this? You should see the passion when he talks about the crisis and the challenges of Africa. Prof. Mamu, it's just that you are a very peaceful person. If you were in the military, you would have clapped many people. You know, you would have done something to get people to march with the order of a united Africa. Because when he talks about the challenges on this continent and the richness of our continent and what actually we are capable of as a people, and in particular, the history of Ethiopia. Many of us learned from him about the history of Ethiopia, its significance in the world, and how Africans can actually ensure that we are not colonized in our thinking, in our minds. So we are very privileged to have Prof. Mamu to give our keynote address this evening. He said to me, it's going to be a talk to fellow brothers and sisters about what we can do to innovate. What are the possibilities of us innovating in this continent? And his topic for tonight says, make African unity a reality. Collaborate as human family to end the disunity with no more delays. Prof. Mamu is a natural scientist, but he's also involved, he's an all-rounder in social science matters because he cares about the African development. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Professor Mamu Mushu to the stage.
Sincerely appreciative for these wonderful remarks. I don't deserve all this. My name is Mamo. Mamo means a little boy. So I'm a little boy. So, no, I think it's important I say a few things before I start my lecture, just private things. First, I want to tell all of you from South Africa, I was in Europe and America, everywhere. I was teaching all over the world. Then I said, at some point when I was in Scandinavia, I said to a brother from Ghana, his name is Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah. I said, I want to leave Europe. I cannot stay all my life in Europe. I must come to Africa. Then he said, okay, Mama, why don't we go to Ghana? I'll take you to Ghana. I said, no. I only can go to South Africa. Why did I say I want to go to South Africa? When I was in America, I went as a young boy. There was a World Youth Forum. I became #1. I wrote essays and things. And then they took me to America. I had a host family, Shirley Caslow, Dr. Mary Caslow. Linda is Lisa Caslow and Andy Caslow. They are all the family. Now the mother just passed away, nearly 100 years. And what happened was, in 1968, when I went there, you know what I heard? But, you know, Martin Luther King was murdered, assassinated. Then I used to read a lot about African Americans too. So I started crying. When I cried, I will never forget this family. I'm telling you, they are, you know, she's amazing, the mother especially, the way she used to love me. She says, I even love you more than my children. She used to say that to me. It's incredible. When she saw me crying, she communicated with the family of Martin Luther King. Tell them, a young boy from rural Ethiopia came, he's crying. Can you please, I connected with them. This is what happened. I'm sincerely telling you. Then what happened was, you know, the American government used to support apartheid also, and the Vietnam War, all these things. I started protesting, although I'm a physics student, I was in engineering and physics, I was doing science, but I still protested. When we protested, we went to Washington, D.C., they arrested us. So I was in prison for 17 days. Maximum security prison, they call it. I had to plead what's called nolle contendere. I cannot say I'm guilty. I cannot say I'm not guilty. The lawyer told me to say that. And then 6 months, they gave me suspended sentence. When I went back to the university in Columbia University, with the Ivy League University, Dean Coleman was his name, the science faculty dean. He used to take me to New Haven, Connecticut. Every weekend, he says, the reason why, Mamo, you are in this, you are a good student. I see your grades. You are wonderful. What's your problem? Because I think you are alone here. Because you are alone, that may be the reason why you are in this trouble. Let me take you. Be like your father. Can you imagine? At least they treated me nicely, the Americans. All right? They are whites. They're very nice. So I'm not racist. I can't be, because they have been nice to me too. So I just want to tell you this background story before I come to why we in Africa have failed to unite, why we need innovation to unite. The big innovation is unity. How we can bring unity is very important. And the other very important thing is, I think, our President Thabo Mbeki, I think his relationship with me is also interesting. He went to, you know, I did my MPhil and doctorate degree in Sussex University. He also did his master's degree in Sussex University. So we're in the same, in the same community. The other important thing is, on the 120 years anniversary of Adwa victory, he did an excellent, to be honest with you, brilliant speech. And the way the research he did is incredible. I mean, all of them, I think all of you must have supported him. And it's amazing. It is about how the media covered Adwa victory. And the victory of Adwa was like a defeat of Europe, colonialism. That's how they see it. So he said Africa became a victor, not a victim. And he put it like that. You know what? There's a great Hollywood star, filmmaker. He asked me, he wanted a film to be done, and he wanted ethical clearance from President Thabo Mbeki. And then I asked my sister, I asked all of even the foundation, all of them, and eventually we get the clearance. Now the film is going to come out, where there will be a very good representation of what he did. So the victory of Adwa, he said, is a victory of Africa. And this was covered not by just the media here in South Africa, all over Europe, America, everywhere, something like that. So I think it would be nice to also mention this too. Now let me go back to my lecture. So the title, you have read it already. So what I want to say to you is, let me just start with some inspiration. When I refer to Africa, I mean the sum total of African cultures as sedimented for millennia in philosophies, wisdoms, ways of knowing, ways of being, and doing things, as well as of relating to otherness. That's Africa. Yes? Africa is a treasure trove, not only of Benin bronze, coltan from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, diamonds from Botswana. The real unmined gems are African concepts, ideas, values, ways of being, and systems of knowledge and episteme. This is serious. The knowledge that has originated from Africa, to be honest, on astronomy, on medicine, on physics, in all spheres, we don't know it, unfortunately. I have written a book on this, and I'm really sincerely thinking that we should actually do something serious. Ubuntu, for example, philosophy. We in South Africa, it was invented here. Our ancestors did it. But we don't value it. We don't understand it. We don't practice it. Why? But that philosophy is extraordinary. It will not only save Africa, it can save the world. I mean, it's really very, very, very important. You are me, I am you. It's a very powerful philosophy, right? You don't hurt others. If you hurt others, you are hurting yourself. Or even you are hurting God, if you are a believer in God, all right? To hurt others is to hurt the Creator too. Something like that is what it is. This extraordinary philosophy came from us. But we don't use it, we don't value it, we don't know it. And then we now have created, just for you to know, we just created a new university. We called Osiri University. You could all Google www.osiriuniversity.org. One word, Osiri University, one word. This university is built on the principle of Ubuntu. We want to create a new university, an African university, that is better than Harvard and Oxford University. No, sincerely, we are really serious about it, because it's going to be the extraordinary knowledge that we have ignored is going to be valued. Even the way students graduate, the way the students learn, we are changing it also, how we're going to do it, the interactive way, many things we're creating. And I'm running the PhD program altogether, and the PhD program will start in July. And I'm hoping that over 2,000 PhDs will be graduating. I'm sincerely telling you, I'm serious. And it's a very important one, and it's a very new approach we're trying to create. And this is something I like, even the Thabo, Mbeki, yeah? Africa Public, this university, this school you have created can also really link with this Osiri University, and we really should create an MOU and build something together. Sincerely speaking, I'm hoping that we'll do it very well, and this university is serious. Another one we have just created also is called CPAS, Center for Pan-African Studies. It's, there's a professor in Hume, in New Zealand, no, not New Zealand, Switzerland, and then in England, 2 universities. But we said we want to include, all right, people from the diaspora, people from Europe, people anywhere who strongly support Africans must also join us. Now we already have professors like Professor Stephen Little. He's a British professor. He's also associated with us at the Swan University of Technology. We also have even Patrick Bond, people like that. All of them are joining us. We have also people from Caribbean, all right? Kimani Nahusi, many people like that. We are now including people to make sure that we also create a strong Pan-African, and the Pan-African should not just be us Africans. We must also make supporters from all over Europe, America, China, everywhere. India, everywhere we want to create. Even we have an Indian professor also getting involved. So we're working very systematically on how to create really on the values and knowledge and spiritual, all right? And all the struggle and everything that Africa have achieved has to be recognized, appreciated, and all of us know about it. That's what we want to do. All right, let me continue. All right? All right, the history of Africa, like the history of mankind as a whole, is really the story of an awakening. The story needs rewriting, for it has been considerably distorted by ignorance and self-interest. This is a serious problem. We need to also change African history very, very much. All right? So, so let us re-educate Africans to value Ubuntu. From Africa, there is Ubuntu that promotes I am because you are. Many is one, one is many. There's an I in you and you in I. Diversity is not negative. It can be an asset. It should not take away our similarity and oneness. Let's learn with humility, honesty, sincerity, and integrity to appreciate diversity in order to celebrate our one humanity with selfless moral and emotional intelligence, and not the pursuit of narrow self-interest. Any variation such as color, language, religion, caste, ethnicity, all right, gender, and all do not change our humanity or diminish it. If we know how to appreciate difference by not denying our human similarity, we can create a humane, peaceful, and civilized world with values of care and share, and not to live the current capitalist global world run by pricing everything and valuing nothing. A dog or horse or any animal can be black or white, still a dog or horse, donkey and all. A human being can be brown, black, or white, still human. Color cannot change the human gene or character. Those that created the crime using color to buy and sell humans as goods and things should learn the big tragic mistake they made and let one human family occupy peacefully our world to keep it going through the eternal river of time. That's what we're saying. So let us re-educate ourselves to be genuine African citizens in the United States of Africa. Let's create the United States of Africa. Not all these states we have now. They are useless. Trust me. Corrupt, useless. I'm very angry with them. I don't like them. Trust me, the current states. We have to create the United States of Africa. Why do we have the United States of America? If the United States can create 50-something states, we have 54 states. Why don't they become one country? How to understand, explain the value chain of our human life from birth to death. We need to know it. How to create true knowledge for human well-being and nature safety. We need to know it. How to discover what's acceptable as good or reject as not good, knowing what is right and what is wrong. We should also know that. How to bond heart, body, soul, mind, and matter. With research and knowledge, we should do that too. How to understand the natural world, space, air, land, and water, and how to understand the cosmos, astronomy, and the universe to save both humanity and nature. We must do that too. How to understand wishes, dreams, emotions, and feelings with moral, intellectual, and emotional intelligence. We should do this. How to avoid greed, selfishness, overambitiousness, arrogance, and jealousy. We should also learn to do that. With our Ubuntu, we should do all these things. Very important thing about nature, space, air, water, electricity, all this matter. Africa is extremely rich. We're not just rich in water, all right? Rich also in the sun, all right? The Sahara Desert, I must tell you, we created also something called ANSOL, African Solar Energy Network. Please Google it, www.ansole.org. I'm the founder. We founded it in 2011, all right? And the 30th one, in fact, we just did a conference this year, and we wrote a book out of it already. It came out a book. It's already published and it's very fascinating what we did. You know what I must tell you? What study we did, research we have done? The Sahara Desert we can turn it into green, agriculture, very green. We can make it green. We can absorb the sun, convert it, create electricity for all of Africa, free electricity for all of us. Not all of Africa, even for Europe, we can give to them. A study has been done. Research we have done on this. We have it, but practice, nothing. You see, we still have, load shedding, all these things you see. I mean, a country like South Africa should not be in this situation. You are so rich. You have 16 minerals. 16 minerals. Trillions. I don't know how many trillions. If you know how to manage these minerals, trust me, if you know it, it'll be good. I said to, when I met the Dr. Nalini Pandor, I said to her, why don't you create the Sovereign Wealth Fund? Why did Norway, when they have little oil, nothing, they created the Sovereign Wealth Fund. You know what they said? They debated for 1 year. They said, what should we do with the oil? Should we give it to the state? They said no. Should we give it to the companies? No. To the people of Norway? Yes. Then they created what they call the Sovereign Wealth Fund. The oil is not much. It's not what South Africa has. But all the Norwegian people now are rich. When I go to the university, they invite me. And I said, in a restaurant I go, I say, can I pay? He said, Mama, what's the matter with you? We're rich. This is what they tell me. I'm sincerely telling you. And in South Africa too, none of you should be poor. Nobody should be a beggar. Nobody should be homeless. No, you're not many people also. You are about 54, 55 million people. Ethiopia, where I come from, is over nearly 129 million people, so it's a lot. But you are not. And you are, and you have a territory twice the size of Ethiopia. Even your territory, the water, everything you have. South Africa is incredible. So beautiful, so rich. It's got everything. But why are we not united? You have also Ubuntu. Your ancestors created the best philosophy to save the world, not just you. So why are you misbehaving? What should I do? My sister, what should I do? No, I'm sincerely telling you, because we should really do. And then when I said to Dr. Nalini Pandor, she told me, she was very nice to me. She gave me even a hug, everything. She just said, she said, we'll do it. But is it done? No, it's not done. No, it should be done for all of you. All these companies, Oppenheimer, Anglo-American, all this, you could make them, you could pay them salary. They shouldn't own it. It's yours. It's the people who must own it. No, forgive me, sincerely. That's what I mean, unity. Unity doesn't mean just talking. It must be done, sincerely. And the politicians, instead of talking all kinds of nonsense, they should be talking about serious issues, about how to serve the people, all right? How to serve the country, all right? How to serve the citizens, and rights, and social justice, social solidarity. These are the things that matter most. And the children, and our women, they are our mothers and sisters, all of you. We should look after you very well. We should care for you. Things like that is what we should be doing, but we're not doing it. Forgive me, but I'm a bit for being emotional. But I love South Africa, that's why I'm emotional. All right. So I just want to say something about the creation of knowledge from Africa is incredible. And I just want to make sure. Ancient Egypt was Kemet, Ethiopia and Africa, where they said the ancient Egyptian civilization was the first of the recorded great world civilizations. Little is known about the prehistoric societies that came before Egypt, but it's assumed that they were steeped in superstition and that their ability to treat disease was primitive, at best, and possibly non-existent. But ancient Egypt was Kemet, Ethiopia, and Africa. Humanity, science, civilization originated from Africa. Imhotep was African. Let's celebrate the origin of humanity. Know that science, knowledge, innovation, medicine, astronomy, engineering, technology, mathematics, architecture, and philosophy originated from Africa. This is what we don't know. I just told you we wrote a book. It's not enough. We need to continue to do book. In fact, I have a very nice brother from Benin, and we are thinking of also creating more. We're doing more research on remember, there's so much manuscripts across the world that have been taken from Africa. You would not believe the ancient knowledge. For example, the country where I am, they teach universities, in 21 universities across the world, across Europe, they teach, They teach the ancient Ge'ez language, where they have all these manuscripts that they have been taken. And the knowledge is on astronomy, Abu Shekar, there's books like that. I mean, you not believe on medicine, architecture, on everything. And then Imhotep, you know about Imhotep. I don't know how many of you know him. How many of you? He's a genius of geniuses. I call him the Einstein of Einstein, and he's African. You know what they say? What the Europeans say? He can't be African. Because they say Africans are primitive and superstitious. There was a guy called Lewis Wolpert. Lewis Wolpert. He was originally from South Africa, white South African, but he was teaching in the University of London. Yeah? And then we had a conference in 1984 in Durham, in England. You know, he wrote a book called The Unnatural Nature of Science. You know what he says there? All Africans are primitive. They are superstitious. They can't do any science. I must tell you, I was in Britain when he gave that presentation, I nearly wanted to hit him. No, sincerely, I would not believe. I was so angry. And I just said, well, how can you say this? Because I was doing research anyway, so I was showing so many knowledge that came from Africa. When I said this, you know what? The BBC, the entire media covered me. I was on the news, on the television, everything, saying this Professor Mamu says that he attacked this man, blah, blah. It became a big story. I'm just telling you. This racism is so serious. They are saying that we don't know anything. He even wrote a book called, if you read that book, The National Interest, don't read it. It will be upset you. But this is what's happening. So I think we need to understand that. And the origin of universities. The first university in the world was African. Haik Stephanos in Ethiopia is the earliest university. I went to see it. I was amazed, on the manuscripts too. Then there's Karun University, founded by an African woman in Fez in 1859. The Guinness Book of Records says so. A second university in the world was also African. All right? It was built in 1969, which still exists today. In Europe, the University of Bologna came in 10,880, 229 years after the first university by an African woman. If you read my article on New African Magazine, you can need Africa-centered innovation system, Professor Mamumuchi, you should read all the story I did about this. I think it's very important. We have also binary logic mathematics, the entire internet world that you see now, the artificial intelligence, all this thing you do. The mathematical model came from us, from Africa. The mathematics. But you know the Nobel Prize, they don't give to mathematics. They don't give Nobel Prize. So we must create also our own, yeah? So the ancient mathematics is this binary logic mathematics. I could really show it to you if I could. If you get a time, if you give me 1 hour, I can give it to you. Now, let me just go to unity now. It is now 61 years since the Organization of African Unity was founded, since decolonization brought not independence, but neocolonialism. Failing so far not having the African United States onwards and forwards to go and go, the loss Africa faced for over 60 years failing to unite. Time now to fast track to correct the needless long delay by together to learn to act. Not talk, but act. Yeah? So I think even Albert Einstein said, the separation of the races is not a disease of colored people. It is a disease of white people. I do not intend to be quiet about it. Albert Einstein, teaching a physics class at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania in 1946. This is serious. We need to change this mindset, colonialism mindset, seriously. If we don't, then it's a problem. So let our spirit glow to give inferiorizing Africa and superiorizing others a big blow. We cannot have racism, no. We should oppose it. All humans should be treated equally, all right? Their human rights must be number one, must be preserved, all right? The gender rights, everything. We should not divide ourselves. The age, everything should not like that. To give inferiorizing Africa and superiorizing others a big blow. Let Africans united remain blessed, safe and sound, and keep strong, never failing to participate to remove all standing against uniting Africa in the world, rejecting it as malice and wrong. So, recognizing from the heart the work we all do to unite Africa is a must. Let's all strive and go always for the best of the best. Let all of us Africans apply our moral, emotional, and intellectual intelligence to continue to shine. Remain always bright, spiritually and humanly genuine. So, retaining this evil for a long time, this racism, making Africa to continue being vulnerable, penetrable, we call all the African younger generation to actually stand up, to be change makers and game changers, to stand up against this gross degradation and make African unity as a grand job to be done with commitment and inspiration. So let's never go for inferiorizing or superiorizing, go for African unity to spur global humanizing. Whenever you see inferiorizing and superiorizing, let all Africans learn to use the cognitive and epistemic vice tool for rejecting by adding virtue ethics along with epistemic virtue testing. That's what we should do. Africa can reject it by showing there is no justification to continue any form of inferiority, by all Africans coming together, showing the necessity to recognize full equality, to build with the cherished philosophy of Ubuntu, one in all and all in one, all Africans as one family and humanity. We should do that. So we need to youth also to teach the youth, teaching them once and for all to stop continuing, all right, to exploit Africa by using inferiority. Putting Africa first is thus the road for Africa to unite on equal terms all humanity. Let's use this Thabo Mbeki Africa School of Public and International Affairs with Osiri University and the Center for Pan-African Studies to create the African Renaissance and unity, not as talk, but as the truest reality. Please do that. So, divide and rule must end. Unity is essential, never again for Africa to fall behind. Africa uniting is colonial divide and rule ending. And truly humanity as a whole and everywhere benefiting. Challenging others' continued demand to maintain their claims to superiority by undermining Africanity must stop. Okay? Why not uniting? What is missing? Why Africa is not uniting? We ask, does Africa know what it is and where it's going? Let this 61 years be a moment for Africa to resolve, to fully use the Thabo Mbeki African School of Public and International Affairs, Osiri University, and Center for Pan-African Studies on all our problems to get only Africans without including others to solve. So, as over 60 years now is on the way, make it the time to stop talking unity and do it without losing the pathway. In 1960, it was declared Africa must unite or perish by Kwame Nkrumah. Africa has not done the unity we cherish to stop to perish. Okay? So, not call some Africans as relatives, others as aliens. Africaphilia must replace all the divisive forms that turn the African one family as the strangers. Let us learn how to care and share with full collaboration and trust, knowing how to agree even when we disagree without any conflict and fight. Apply the relativity of African unity by removing over the gravity of disunity and conflict. Manage differences. We should manage all the differences too. All right? There's still failure to appreciate the Africa's full humanity by asserting the rich Africanity. African identity continues to be subtracted by degrading psychic dislocation and cognitive exhaustion. Africans using external colonial presence by defining themselves with division, like Lusophone, Francophone, Anglophone, Levantine phone, ethnic phone, right? Language phone, religious phone, gender phone, Afrophobic phone, and so on and on. But Africa is never a phone. Africaphilia, Africa love must prevail forever. Africans must treat one another as one human family. Practice Ubuntu truly. First and foremost, you from South Africa, your ancestors created the best philosophy to save the world, not just us Africans. But why are you not practicing it? Why is not the person who is got a lot of money loves his money? Why? Why you love money? If you love money, you are evil. Don't love money. Love you. No, sincerely, why? Why hurt you for money? No, I don't understand humanity, to be honest with you. I don't like money, to be honest with you. Genuinely, I mean, I get salary, everything, I mean, but I share it anyway, all the time. Yeah, we should share it, yeah. And the people on the, yeah, I have told you, when the lady that used to help me on HIV, she died, I had to look 2 children. And now I say to the children, make sure you do nothing except go to university. And now they reach university. I'm so happy. We have to be careful. Why are we so selfish? No, we should not. Forgive me, I'm not happy with the way people, for money and everything, why do I hurt people? Why? Why kill people? My lovely sister, he looks, you don't believe when I say the photo, I was, honestly, I was in tears. You know, it's terrible. Just to kill a young man just walking on the car. I don't understand it, to be honest with you. Forgive me, but I'm just not happy with the way we also need, you know, I'll talk about it before I end. about, I was telling the minister there earlier, I'll tell you something what we need to do. Even me, when I teach my students, I mean, I have now graduated over 100 students, PhDs. Even today, 3 of them I was not able to go to the graduation, but I did, but I saw them. So there's no problem. I discussed with them. And on May 2, another 5 will graduate from me. I mean, we always work all the time. We should be there for them, for the students. And they are all South Africans. It's so nice. We should assist them. We should work for them. And I came to support you. You know, I chose South Africa. Did I make the right choice? So Africans must treat one another as one human family, practice Ubuntu truly, as you are me and me is you really, as no African is a stranger to another African. That must be what we need to do, all right? There's still failure to appreciate the full humanity, all right? African identity continues to be subtracted, all right? And Africans using external colonial presence by defining themselves must be stopped. So, all Africans put our beloved Africa first. To acknowledge to put Africa first is to put humanity first. The world is still divided by implicit or explicit classification of inferiority and superiority. Africans have not yet fully removed coloniality. They still prefer to look and affirm each other by mimicking externality. So let's do the unity by appreciating difference. We need to change ourselves, learn to find unity pathways by teaching each other with Ubuntu how to share. And it is true with Africa Unity, we can make each other how to care by prioritizing Africa and all African people, above all, more than oneself or another. So finally, let me just say this. We just wrote a book. It will be published. It will come out this month, May, on South Africa's public service and public management challenges. Now, all this corruption, all these things you see, we have seriously done research, to be honest with you. So I hope all of you will read our book and even review it. This is what we said, just to give you some. Public service and not public masters is what leadership for Africa requires. I say to you, to my students, be my teachers. If you don't invent, you don't create, you don't innovate, you just repeat what I tell you, no. I want you to be like my teachers. Teach me. How do you teach me? When you create. And I created a course, Technology for Venture Creation. I'm so proud of them. Many South African students, I'm proud of them. I'm sincerely telling you. They are now creating in the townships, in the rural areas, they are creating. I'll show you some of the examples they did. Isn't that interesting? And I used to get this entrepreneurship award. I used to get funding, and I was able to support them. And now they created. They are inventors, creators, innovators. Isn't that interesting? Entrepreneurs. When you make things like that, this is fascinating. Of all things I've done, to be honest, I've taught all over the world, seeing these young people doing it. And then you know what? From Bloemfontein, from others, when the Christmas and New Year comes, they come to me, bring me some gift and say, you are our papa. They say that to me, to be honest with you. It's so lovely for them to come, and I just get amazed how they come and say, because we're doing this, you made us rich, they say. I mean, it's interesting that they did creation. They invent things, all right? Then I say, when you do that, I feel I'm your student. You are my teacher. You know what I want all the politicians to be? They must serve the people. Their best salary is to serve the people. That's their salary, not the money they get. No, sincerely. All of you don't go for money, go for salary. I told you the professor, the greatest philosopher, I mentioned to you, my sister told her, Zara Yacob is his name, he's Ethiopian. He created, 200 years before, Kant, all this Hegel, all these philosophers, he created reason. Yeah? Who created me? Mother and father. Who created my mother and father? The creator. Who created the creator? The creator. He even gave reason. And he actually is known for doing that. And also about the rich. He said, who is more happy, the poor or the rich? He said, the poor are usually more happy than the rich. The rich, they have something, they need more. When they need more, they get miserable, he said. And then he also said about religion. Very powerful thinker. Don't privatize worshiping God with different religions. My way of worshiping God is better than yours. Don't say that, he said. This is wrong. You are privatizing religion, he says. This is wrong. This is a philosopher, an African philosopher, like Imhotep, also Zeragov. In fact, we published a book on engineering design mathematical modeling. I actually wrote about it, and we dedicated the book to him. We really did. We need to dedicate a book to him. We also need to dedicate a book for our President Thabo Mbeki. At least Thabo Mbeki, I respect him and love him. You know why? Because whatever challenges he faced, he didn't do all these crazy things we hear. That, you know, we hear very much. So I think it's so important. We really also must value. So public service is your salary if you are a politician. Otherwise, don't be a politician. Okay? So public masters is not what leadership requires. Not those who take and steal Africa's wealth by collaborating with foreign actors, but those who give, like Thomas Sankara, to the people. The well-being and the health of the people and nature must become the priority. Systems, governance, institutions, and leadership must be managed with honesty, sincerity, humility, and integrity, and moral, intellectual, and emotional prudity and intelligence. Let Africans unite to solve any crisis by turning into an opportunity. All right? Africa is rich in knowledge and resources. Do the African unity innovation to stop others to take all the wealth and indigenous knowledge. Make all Africans to own Africa's rich resources with the African Sovereign Wealth Fund. Let the divisive politics end and the politics that unites Africa prevail. So, let Africans find their own solutions even to all problems. Let Africans convert any crisis into an opportunity. Africa desperately needs effective systems, institutions, governance, and leadership. Please use this biannual international conference for all Africans to learn to agree to provide African solutions to all problems Africans face now and in the future. Pan-Africanism, African unity, and Renaissance are essential to bring African solutions to African problems. Let us unite, and make Africa one nation with the current 54 states like the United States of America. Let's try to do that, and if we do that, then I think Africa will let Africa move from the physical world to the digital world and enter into the knowledge. You know, this artificial intelligence thing is very complicated. Cyber crimes, surveillance capitalism, we have so many dangers also. We need to manage it too. To enter into the knowledge economy with a smart, integrated, green, innovative Africa. Let Africans also try to develop a sovereign wealth fund to make the people own the rich African wealth that still continues to be exploited by those who are not Africans except those who collaborate with external exploiters of Africa. With no need to depend on loans, aid, and debt. Better to undertake all transformation and production by engaging all the people in Africa to address all challenges, all right, to solve all the problems. That's what we should be working for, we should be aiming at. I just want to say something. Of all the imperialist countries or the colonialist countries, the French are still very, very complicated. Look what happened. The genocide in Rwanda, they and the United Nations were involved. They should apologize, actually, for all the crime they did. And even, you know what they did? The French sent a lot of this, the Tutsis and others, to what? To Eastern Congo. We have now over 12 million people have died in the Eastern Congo. You know what is happening? They call it the African World War. Eastern Congo is the African World War. We have these challenges, serious challenges, and we're not really working to resolve it. And unfortunately, you know, all the countries are not working very hard to bring, you know, reconciliation and peace. Even the SADC countries, there's so many involvements which are not very good. But I must tell you that the French still depend. Without, you know what the French finance minister said? If we leave Africa, all of us France will have to go to Africa as refugees, he said. Because without Africa, we have nothing. Over 65% of the reserves in the Lycée Palace and all the banks in France, you know where they take them? From the Francophone 14 states. All right? Can you imagine? And when the countries want their own money back, they pay interest to French banks. What is going on? Why? I must tell you, these countries are more colonized now than when they were formerly colonized by the French. No, sincerely, this is not nice. What's happening to us? It's very complicated. So we need to find a solution, because it's not fair what's going on to us. This is what they are doing. And let me just tell you another important thing. The DRC Congo has coltan. What doesn't they have? They have resources estimated to 24 trillion. That's a combined gross national product of all of Europe and America in 2009. Can you imagine? In one place in Africa alone. And what do we have? The Belgians are involved, the French are involved, and also regional countries also are involved, and the conflict is going on in the DRC Congo. This is not right. That resources, if we know how to share it, the whole of Africa will be, all of you will be millionaires, everybody. There will be no problem. No one will be poor, homeless, all right? Shelterless, all right? Beggar. Why do we see beggars forgive me, I get so upset when I see beggars in South Africa. Why? Nobody should be a beggar. You have everything. You are rich, and you are beautiful also. No, sincerely, the country is so beautiful. Everywhere you go, it's amazing. I invite people saying, you want to come to this beautiful country? No, sincerely. So we have so many things like that. So I just want to make sure that you understand me for this. I forgot to say something about South Africa and Ethiopia. We have a great relationship, and now Ethiopia is in a very difficult situation now. We have apartheid constitution, but when she read the preamble today, I was so impressed. The constitution of South Africa is incredible. But Ethiopia is in a mess now. Many people are dying. Again, there's almost genocide is also taking place. But this should not be the country in this situation. I must just tell you, Ethiopia is really not just Ethiopia, the country. It's Ethiopia, the whole of all Africa used to be called Ethiopia. No, sincerely. Even not only that, even India used to be called Eastern Ethiopia. Even the Indian Ocean used to be called Ethiopia. So we have all this, it's Africa as a whole, sincerely speaking. And you know what happened? In 1829, African Americans created the Ethiopia Manifesto, 1829. Amazing manifesto. I could send it to you. I'll send you the PowerPoint so you can share it. And then after Adwa victory, 1896, in Southern Africa here, they created like that. You know what? The Ethiopianism, even ANC, the African National Congress, the African National was formed with spiritualism and Ethiopianism acknowledged by former President Mandela. Fundamental tenets of the Ethiopian movement were self-worth, self-reliance, and freedom. These tenets drew the advocates of Ethiopianism like a magnet to the growing political movement. That political movement was to culminate in the formation of the African National Congress in 1912. It's in this sense that the ANC, we trace the seeds of the formation of our organization to the Ethiopian movement of the 1890s. This was Nelson Mandela's speech to the Free Ethiopian Church of South Africa. I must tell you, John Langabilele Dube, the first president of ANC, by Ethiopianism, in 1906, the apartheid authorities put a law saying that all this Ethiopian propaganda is destroying us. Let's try to attack them, and he got arrested too. And then they released him, they didn't kill him. But all I'm saying to you is that the main reason is that the churches, when they go to church, when they preach, they call them Lucifer and things like that. And then they said, if you call us like this, let's have our own independent church. So when they set up, they formed the Ethiopian Church of South Africa. All right, in Marabasa, everywhere. If you go to Cape Town, there's about 8 or 9 of them. If you go to Port Elizabeth, our 300 churches are there, Ethiopian churches, still. And now we have, in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, we have about, I don't know how many thousands of priests, South Africans. South African priests, all right? They even speak Amharic. Can you imagine? I mean, we are together. We are one. We must be one. It's not only me leaving a better salary to come for you. But also, people are now doing it like that. So I just want to tell you we are one people. And now because of that, I want to tell you, in fact, even I wish you could tell also our President Thabo Mbeki, the politics is rough. They are all Western, everything is involved. I don't know what's going on. The killing is taking place. Is it possible to stop this genocide? In fact, I'm struggling about how it can be. Even my own families, they did drones, and my families also were killed. And I'm struggling about this. So can you please just forgive me? I have to mention this to you. The Ethiopian crisis is dangerous now, and I like you to also to participate. We don't need any genocide, all right? This kind of crisis we don't want to have anywhere. We don't want it to be in all the countries in Africa where all these conflicts are. Let's conflict-free Africa, public service, public servants, public management, public administration must be genuine. Don't love your bank account, all right? Don't love your pocket, all right? Don't make your salary that. Make your salary the service of the people, the service of South Africa, all right? And the service of Africa. Unite Africa, not fight Africa. Don't make any Africa to fight another African. Please, let's do that now. That the unity should have happened 63 years ago, now 61 years ago. Since it failed us, let's not delay it. All of you, the young people, you should be change makers and game changers. Make sure you really, really, really do the change that Africa needs. And the unity must be done. If you unite, before I go leave this world, if I see African unity, this will be the best gift I ever get in my life. Thank you very much. I hope this is the best lunch, dinner you have. Thank you. Sorry for taking a long time. Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I want to read this. No, we have this journal. I think I can give it to you, and then you can pass it to the students. This is a gift for my gift also. This is a nice journal which is very relevant for South Africa, for creativity, innovation, and social entrepreneurship. Very important. We need this. And I just told you that I have this venture for creation course. It's engineering students that I teach, and they are doing wonderful things. I'm so proud of South Africans. I love you so much. I sincerely mean it from the bottom of my heart. Just seeing the students doing some fascinating thing, and then I say, wow, you're my teachers.
Thank you. Thank you. Another warm round of applause for Professor Mamo Mushu. Thank you, Prof. I think your talk has gone to the theme of this university, reclaiming Africa's intellectual futures. You have called us to reclaim Africa's intellectual futures, and you went deeper into the innovation that happened on this continent, Ubuntu, philosophy, and you are also calling us on a big rehumanization project because we have lost it as a people. And I think that reminds me of China, when China always says, common prosperity for all. It's not for few, it's not for China only, but it's common prosperity for all. And you see, this type of messaging of common prosperity also is against many of the capitalist ideologies of things for myself, individual interest against the collective. And that's why China is also an enemy of the West. And I think you have called us to this common prosperity. And one of the things that you also said is that African unity can heal this sick world. If Africa can be united, it means even those who want to fiddle and make wars won't have a place to play if Africa is united. And that's why African unity for you becomes a very important to heal the sick world of where we are killing one another, where we are stealing from one another. The unity the innovation of unity that you are, and the approach that you are presenting tells us that once there is unity, there won't be space for any penetration, and also space for seeing somebody as a different person. So I think that is very powerful prose. And I also like what you said. The best reward for a politician is to serve the people, not to teach, Professor Mel, not to cheat our people. And I'm hoping that some of these nuggets and some of the literature shared here will also get into the teaching of our students. Because I am sure that we are sitting at this time of the night. You know, academics wake up early. They've been up since, many of them here, they've been up since 2, 3. That's the time most academics wake up. So for them to be sitting in this hall at 7:30, it means they are serious about finding solutions for this, for this continent. And that's why we sit here and we want to come up and tackle the problems that we face on the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, let me not go too far and ask Mr. David Lutswalo to give us a few vote of thanks. A warm round of applause of welcome for him as he walks to the stage to give us a few vote of thanks for this evening, and to thank Professor Mam. Thank you.
So a vote of thanks basically is a speech. So you can check that in the dictionary, or you can even Google it. So I'm entitled to give a speech, but I'm not going to do that. So earlier on, the program director said something about poems, and I thought everyone should have at least a poem. And if you have your own istakazelo, that's basically your own. So I felt that because I could not procure my imbongi for tonight, so just to let you know who I am. Kemonaring wabanaring bagaletswaro. Ke letswalo la mmata wa magasha. Re bua kwa ga mmapela ga batho. Ga mmathari a namane. Re balaudi. I think that must be underlined. Re balaudi ba mmatsela tswako. Ba bo mmamotopa noga machusha le motla e hwile. I'll pause right here. So no, I'm just saying, like, this is Takazelo should let you know who I am. That's very, very important. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say, Professor Edith Paswan, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to also thank the people that have participated in this program. And if we can look at it, I'm supposed to be thanking only 2 people, that is Professor Paswana and Professor Momumuchi, for this particular session. And unfortunately, or fortunately, they align with whatever has happened today and whatever will happen in the next 2 days. So I'm very, very fortunate, listening to Professor Mamumuchi. I'm very, very fortunate that I'm not here as his discussant or to respond to his conversation. I don't want to say it was a speech. I I want to thank him actually for making it a conversation rather than a speech. So I think that is very, very important. I'll come back to him because he's the main role player in this particular session. So, Prof. Mello, as the leader and the driver of this conference, I want to thank you so much for conceptualizing this concept. And you and your team, you deserve lots and lots of accolades for actually moving from that conceptualization mode to the manifestation thereof, which is this particular conference. And I can assure you that the conference was already a success before it even started. So I want to thank you so much with your team for that. And at the same time, I would like to thank the management committee of the school, of the TM school, for supporting and endorsing this wonderful idea so that it could see the light of day and its fruition be experienced as we do this evening, and also optimistically in the next 2 days. And I can assure you that without the support of the committee and obviously of your team, we wouldn't be here this evening. But you couldn't have conceptualized that without the confidence and the knowledge that the academics, all the academics of the TM school and UNISA broadly, and also our fellow colleagues from other universities that are here today, physically and even virtually, would be participating as such. So you wouldn't have even thought that this would move on. And importantly, that you were doing this on the premise that we are building and manifesting a conference that is based on the notion of searching for solutions for a prosperous Africa, just to paraphrase. And it's very, very important that even your wonderful conference theme speaks to what the school stands for and the notion of Africa. So anything that does not have Africa in it does not find resonance in the ambitions of this glorious school. So I want to also thank the admin support component of the school, the people who gave us the technical support in the university, and also those that attended to the logistical issues relating to this conference, whether for registration and arranging the venues and everything else, and importantly for processing the procurement matters for this school to host this wonderful conference. So the colleagues that assisted in that supportive role are most sincerely thanked. In fact, we are giving everyone else our soulful, gratitude for their support and contribution to this. Earlier in the morning, Professor Mello, you talked about people who supported us spiritually, who are with us here in spirit, not physically. So we are retaining the favor, not spiritually, but soulfully. I'm reminded of somebody, I think I was very, very young at that time, who tried to give a definition that would explain the difference between the soul and the spirit. And unfortunately didn't last long on this planet. And then the next one that tried to differentiate the very two concepts followed him in that way. So I'm not going to try and explain what the difference is between the spirit and the soul, because I still want to be to be around. So let me come to Professor Mamo Mochi. I want to thank him for differentiating between a submission for a cocktail and a keynote address. You know, I think that is, for me, that is very, very important. So many people don't differentiate between all these things. You have to be very, very savvy, like Professor Paswana, to be able to differentiate these moments and have a sense of occasion. And I think Professor Mamomuchi had a sense of occasion and had a conversation with us that befits this conference and this particular session, which is a cocktail session or evening. But it's very, very tempting, you know, to sort of, not to respond, but to at least say something around how Professor Mamumuchi, you know, contributed, shared, you know, his wonderful thoughts with us this evening. It felt like it was a gesture. Indeed, it was a gesture that was given free of charge. And he actually went on to bolster that view by boldly saying that he doesn't love money. He doesn't love a bank account. I don't know. I looked at him actually, and I am convinced that he doesn't love money. So, and I don't know how many of us would affiliate to that view. Now, similarly with this whole issue that I'm an African and must love Africa, African unity, I can tell you that many people do it part-time. You use it, you use this expression when it suits you, particularly on occasions like this. And then when you are alone in your own selfish spaces, then you debunk the whole notion of, you know, united. He's talked about the United States of Africa. I would like to challenge everyone else, as I thank Professor Mamumuchi, to even go beyond the issue of United States of Africa to a united Africa. Because I can tell you that once you talk about the states, that's where you're bringing in coloniality and colonization through the back door. We're going to be thinking along the lines of the states. So the other time I was asking myself that I shouldn't be actually supporting the, what is this called? African Nations Cup, the soccer tournament. Because it forces you to identify with a particular colonial state. And then you're like, yeah, with the flag, then the anthems of a colonial state. So those are the kind of things that we could get from Professor Mamo Mushi. So I want to thank you for sharing your nugget in a very, very conversational style. And by so saying, I want to thank you all for being here. Actually, Professor Paswana did the job for me by alluding to academics as people who wake up very, very early, and I don't know from there what happens, but but people are here, and so I guess that that shows your commitment. And I want to say that in closing, I'll borrow from Professor Paswana again, and when she started to say that by being here, it means that you are the associates of the school. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to really, once again, shower you with lots and lots of soulful gratitude from the Thabo Mbeki African School of Public and International Affairs, and wishing you again all the best in the remaining days of the conference. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, by the powers vested in me. Prof. King is laughing. Okay, I think we have come to the end of the session. We have food. We have, I don't know, wine. I have not even given wine. They're already on it. I'm joking. I thought we were taught you must eat first, right? So when we stand up here, please just make sure that you have a balance. So we have come to the end of the evening. I just want to thank you, David, as well. You know, usually when people do the vote of thanks, no one thanks them. Thank you so much for offering this, and enjoy the night. I think there will be nice music, nice food, nice wine from Sapam wine. So we are very privileged to have this donation of the wine for the evening, for the space. They are paying for the space that we gave them to advertise. They are paying, there's nothing free. Thank you. The university austerity measures does not allow us to buy wine. So Sapam came handy for us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night and drive safely. Just take it easy. We still have tomorrow. We still have Friday. So you'll be tired by tomorrow morning. So let's just enjoy. Good night.
Thank you.